Well, good morning to you, everybody. Please let me start by warmly welcome all of you, our farmers, Varimivedu, and letting you know just what a privilege it is to be sharing this platform with you today. The French people have a saying, and the saying is, fish discover water only at the end. Fish discover water only at the end. And the reason I share this with you is because we are in a new place as a country. And the reason why that saying may be worth reflecting on is because fish take water for granted. They stay in water, they are conditioned by water, but they only realize the existence of water when it either becomes too polluted or when the water gets too shallow and it affects them directly. In many ways, I think Zimbabwe, in a way, is experiencing enormous change. We grew up in a particular way, and we grew up, went to school, and after school, you qualified, you got a job, and if you got a job after that, you started your family, and after your family, you aimed to work hard to then make progress in your work, and at the end of it, you retired. But we all know that that is no longer the route because of three main things that are happening in all our lives. And those three things are technology, they are the economic changes that we are seeing, but not least of all, we are also experiencing huge social change in our country. So all of these things are affecting two things directly: time and change. No one of us can control time and change, but what we can do is manage it. The only way to manage life is to effectively manage and effectively plan our day-to-day existence. What we are doing today, just like the fish, is learning to become more aware of our environment, and our environment is now typified or is made real by change. Change is accelerating and is the one factor that will not change until the end of our time. The only way we will be able to control time is by more effective planning of our day-to-day activities. And the more effective planning is why we are gathered. So let me start by, again, taking time to welcome all of you. I would like to acknowledge the presence of our special guests. Let me start with Mr. Paul Zakaria, the Secretary General for the Zimbabwe Farmers Union, and who will speak to us very, very shortly. So Paul, can I say to you, good morning and welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, and good morning to you all.
Terrific. Thank you for joining us and thank you for your time. We are also accompanied by our host, who is the sponsor of this platform, who together with Agribusiness Media has made all of this possible. Mr. Tendai Karonga is well known to all of us in business here in Harare and the country, and he has become even better known for his contributions as the first director of the Insurance and Pensions Commission. And from that, he has progressed with his career and now is the executive director of the Insurance Council of Zimbabwe. He is an outstanding player in business, and we are so delighted that he has made time to be with us. So, Mr. Karonga, we say to you, good morning, sir, and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you for your time, sir.
It is a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you.
And we look forward to your insights, sir, not too long from now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are also in the company of the Public Relations and Marketing Manager for the Insurance Council of Zimbabwe, who has been very active in piecing together all the different things that have made this day possible. Her name is Ringisai Batia, and we say, Ringisai, good morning to you, ma'am, and welcome.
Oh, thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Wonderful. Representing Agribusiness Media, our official from there is Mr. Rawlings Coffee. Rawlings, good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, everyone. Thank you.
Wonderful. Rawlings, thank you ahead of time for making sure that we were able to get all our farmers together. We truly appreciate their presence. And to all of you, our farmers, we say to you good morning, and all other business executives represented here and any other officials that I may not have mentioned, you are all welcome. And we are looking forward to an exciting hour where together we will share ideas on what it is that insurance and better risk management can do, not only to manage your business better, but ultimately to manage your life better. Because the only thing we now know, ladies and gentlemen, for sure, is that nothing is for sure. Things always change. But happily, there is an answer. And how you manage those unseen things that can happen to any one of us is exactly the discussion that we are about to commence. So without further ado, allow me, if you will, to hand over to our guest speaker, Mr. Paul Zakaria, representing the Zimbabwe Farmers Union, who will speak to the management of risk and why it is so critical at this time and how it applies to our farming community. Mr. Zakaria, good morning to you, and over to you, sir.
Well, thank you. Thank you very, very much. And I would like to also appreciate this time that you have given to me, and also to say you could have chosen a better person, but fate has it that you will be stuck with me at least for these few minutes. But having said that, in terms of trying to manage the need to manage risk in agriculture is actually huge. For Zimbabwe, we know that we are an agro-based economy. Most of our agricultural, or rather the economy itself, ticks around agriculture, and then agriculture feeds into the various other sectors through provision of raw materials. And we also know that in terms of employability, quite a significant number of our population derives their livelihoods out of agriculture. And that is a very important thing to note as we take this discussion forward. Now, value is lost in agriculture because there are many risks that for one reason or another have not been mitigated or have not been managed. And managing risk is not just through insurance, it's various other things that go in there, which we will look at. But for us to get a proper grounding on this subject, on the need to manage risk or risks in agriculture, we will need to first of all unpack what are these risks, where do we normally get exposed. Agriculture, like we all know, has been exposed, or rather, to a wide spectrum of risks. And climate is one of them over the recent years. And also you look at the volatile agricultural and input prices. Discussions around risk mitigation, they themselves have actually become a huge risk, because if the discussions do not take on board the critical issues that make up what we call risk, whatever product that will come out of those discussions, they will actually be a major threat to the continuance of agriculture. You're also looking at increasing difficulty in markets, the risks associated with our markets, also growing criticism of modern intensive agriculture from the wider public and also from the media. So we now have new risks, which is the misinformation that takes place around agriculture and the risks associated. Therefore, risk management becomes highly relevant in agriculture. And that's one of the things that I'm going to talk about. But without wasting much of our time, I will go straight into the broad areas that would actually encompass what we call risks in agriculture. And you start off with the production risks, for instance, the production risks, which will look at the on-farm risks, pests, animal diseases, animal health issues, the risks on the farm. Sometimes we think we can mitigate through just getting qualified farm managers, or get the right type of varieties and so on. That is just scraping the surface of the matter. It is a total approach that is required in terms of the risks that are associated with this. For instance, it is where our inputs are coming from. Do they really speak to the requirements of the markets? So have we done our analysis of the markets so that we are producing directly for a market which requires a specific quality in terms of the product that we are going to churn out? To what levels have we also done what processing may be required at that on-farm level? Then you move on to climate change, weather risks, which then can be mitigated through many other ways. But do our farmers know what the weather is going to be like, location specific, and for them to be able then to put in measures to protect their crops, and also to put in the investment that is required, which will also be protected, the investment itself, which will be protected if other risks are managed. Then you look at the human resource risks on the farm. We have employees, with pandemics, like right now. I'm on a virtual platform with our National Council, and we realized there was an example that was given where a whole farm somewhere in Mashonaland Central was really hit hard by the COVID-19, and key personnel on the farm actually under time, and because of the COVID issues, not much could be done without the intervention of Ministry of Health officials. So these are new risks that are coming in, but sicknesses and accidents, we all know these have been these are risks, and deaths is the death itself. Lack of worker motivation is also a risk. Decent employment, if we are not looking at that carefully, it can actually be a risk where we lose employees probably to other farms, and or also across our borders. The various other inheritance issues, they also affect us in agriculture, and they constitute our human risks. Then the obvious financial risks that we all know: change in interest rates, lack of clarity sometimes in terms of what contracts people are going into, and then markets fail to perform. One unilaterally tries to then sort that out by side marketing and so on. These are the risks that really attack us in the area of finances. Debt servicing itself is also a risk associated with agriculture. Now, when you look at production facilities, the facilities themselves can catch fire. There could be vandalism, devaluation due to technical processes, and many other issues where the balance sheet then does not speak to growth. It speaks a totally different language, and then you approach a financial institution, which financial institution may not look at the application of one's loan favorably. So that's another area to look at. And then you look at the market price risks. In Zimbabwe, I think we need to revise some of the things that we have done over the last few years. The pre-planting prices, a good idea, at least to give an indication of where producer prices may be by the time we start marketing. But in an inflationary environment, it becomes quite tricky, because you'll see when producer prices were announced for grains, for soybeans and other cotton and other commodities, the value then were translated to, for maize, for instance, translated to somewhere around $370. And if you compare the same value, 32,000 Zimbabwe dollars, to converting with the alternative market, because prices are indexed anyway to the alternative market, you will see that we have lost value, significantly lost value, and there is need to cushion that and address that as an issue. Input price volatility. Right now, as we're speaking, prices of inputs are going up. I was looking at AN, the top dressing fertilizers, which has gone up to about $45, $47, when at the beginning of the year, around January, February, the same bag was going for about $37, $38. So that shows clearly that these are areas that have often not been looked at. Now, when I look at the output price volatility, that's an area that would require some working around in terms of managing that as a risk. And for insurance purposes, a farmer should be able to protect their value in an environment like this. I'll leave that to the actuaries, but it is critical that in this environment, our farmers become profitable. And how can we preserve value? Preserving value under these circumstances is increasingly becoming critical. Then, of course, you have your environmental risks. And environmental, I'm really not talking about climate change. I'm talking about the operating environment, where you have your agricultural policies. I'm not so sure whether statutory instruments work or they don't. They create quite some levels of uncertainty here and there, where, for instance, the statutory instrument 145 of 2019, which says that only GMB can buy grain, or those who have contracted can buy grain. There is free grain out there, which was produced not under contract, but now those farmers or those companies that produced their own grain, which I will deem free here, for lack of a better word, they will now require a permit from GMB to move the grain, and that increases costs because the permits are not coming free of charge. So these are some policy risks that we can also talk about. The social laws, the fiscal laws, the animal welfare laws, all these, the political risks around agriculture, and looking at the access to land, the instruments that give access to land, our offer letters, our 99-year leases, our permits to the A1 communities, all these, there is need for us to really look into them, because the financial institutions up till now have not been able to respect these instruments as instruments that actually that one can actually borrow against. So other risks associated with this, I mean, various other lawsuits. I mean, we're talking about issues that could have been handled by the Land Commission in terms of boundaries, burglaries, liability, losses, and so on. Now, these are the areas that I quickly thought I would bring so that we have a proper grounded discussion around this. But just to end it up, I was also looking at going back to agricultural production, to the issues of production. Looking at on-farm risks, there is clear need for us to educate our farmers. Now I'm speaking to the issues of agricultural risk management through insurance. Our insurers need to be more innovative. The agricultural terrain has changed since the year 2000 with the land reform program. The terrain has completely changed. So if we are still looking for that large-scale farmer of yesteryears who would prioritize insurance and who had a deep understanding of what this meant, we may be searching for a lifetime. But we now need to look at who is the farmer today and where are they in terms of understanding even these risks that I'm talking about. Together with organizations like ours, we need to come up with education and awareness exercises, taking blitz to go out there. It's an investment that we will never regret at the end of the day. The need to manage risks is critical. Now, Zimbabwean farmers are different in terms of scale and in terms of capacities, and they need tailor-made products that meet the needs, their needs, or their needs in their different categories. So being innovative around that is also critical. And should we really be demanding cash? It was a discussion that we had in the last National Council meeting. Is it the traditional way, or is it you can pick up something that has value, which then can be converted into cash later, but at least the risks have been mitigated. So there is a clear oversight on the insurance sector in terms of fairness and value for money. And let me end here, at least for now. And if there is need, I can come back later. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Paul. We do appreciate the expansive nature of your talk and how it has introduced the risks that we face. And they are many, they are varied, and they are real. So we thank you for introducing us to this, and at least to our farmers. And to our farmers, let us not be like the fish, become so accustomed to what Zimbabwe used to be and not realize that Zimbabwe has in fact changed. The global economic environment has changed, and we are speaking a new language, which is now about effective planning. You know, if you cannot plan your life, you will not be able to manage it. So let me hand over to somebody who has devoted their entire existence, their entire life to understanding how to manage risk through insurance. So it's entirely appropriate for me to hand over now to Mr. Tendai Karonga, who is the Executive Director for the Insurance Council of Zimbabwe, whose mandate it is to protect and advance the interests of all those players in the insurance industry. So Mr. Karonga, we say to you, good morning, sir, and welcome. We look forward to your comments.
Well, thank you, Patrick. I wish to thank Mr. Zakaria for a detailed outline of the risks facing farmers. He went across the broad outline of the risks: production, protection of assets, climatic risks, human resource risks, financial risks. However, for us as the insurance industry, we will concentrate on the insurance aspect of risk management, which, as Mr. Zakaria pointed out, is not the only way to provide risk management. Sorry for the slight interruption. There was some technical issue here. Now, without ignoring the inflationary conditions in our economy, which Mr. Zakaria efficiently pointed out, we as the insurance industry bring out to you what we are able to do. I'll start off by outlining the state of the agricultural insurance consumption in Zimbabwe, then move on to the products on the market, then discuss the reasons for the low uptake of insurance, because indeed there is a low uptake, and then the measures that we are implementing to increase use of agricultural insurance, and of course taking into account Mr. Zakaria's request for more innovation in our approach to risk management. To start with, we would say agriculture is a major contributor to the country's GDP, but it is not adequately supported through insurance and risk management services that help farmers recover in the event of disasters. We are aware that about 68% of Zimbabwe's population is rural and surviving on farming. Basically, it has been subsistence. Now, as a matter of fact, agricultural insurance contributed only 5.61% of the 3.99 billion gross premium written in the first quarter of 2021 as the IPEC report. Agriculture would play a bigger role in contributing to our GDP if farmers make use of insurance products available. These provide security for production. I'm emphasizing production here. What are these agricultural insurance products on the market? One would say, our members, that is ICZ members, offer the following insurance products. In terms of commercial farming, we have crop insurance. The insurance covers losses during the period of insurance arising out of the following perils: fire, windstorm, pests, frost, stray animals, lightning. Livestock insurance also covers accident, disease, fire, lightning, and windstorm, theft, and malicious damage. Then we get to tobacco insurance, which covers hailstorm, lightning, bonfires, goods in transit, commonly called field to flow. We have an all-risk farmers policy covering all farming activities, crop damage, property, and liabilities. This policy would be comprehensive in addition to insuring the agricultural produce. It goes on to cover all assets and equipment on the farm. And the key assets would be farm buildings, easy houses, fowl runs, storage facilities, farm equipment, personal accident workers, liability insurance, physical infrastructure, for example, the dams. This takes care of the big commercial farmer. If we move over to other commercial farming activities on a smaller scale, you will find that the command agriculture insurance, mostly for wheat, maize, and livestock. and livestock is in existence. Contract farming, mostly for tobacco and soya. On the small scale, we also have an all risks farmers policy. Now, having given an outline of what covers are available from our members, we can examine the reasons for the low uptake of insurance. Because we believe that the farming community is not optimizing available resources for risk management. The main consumers of agricultural insurance at the moment are commercial and contract farmers. These are the ones that are more aware of insurance services available. However, despite agriculture being a major contributor to the Zimbabwean economy, the uptake of insurance remains subdued, quite subdued, for the following reasons. Some argue there is lack of insurance products that address the needs of smallholder and subsistence farmers. I think Mr. Zakaria alluded to this in his speech, who are the majority in Zimbabwe following our land redistribution exercise. So these are the majority. Mistrust in insurance services. People do not have the level of good faith in what is offered by insurance practitioners. I think largely because there is a lack of knowledge on the benefits of insurance and risk management services. And to some extent, the insurers themselves may not have publicized what they are able to offer for the benefit of the farming community. Other people want to rely on traditional self-insurance in risk management. I think this, we know, has not been effective. It has kept people in perpetual subsistence farming. The thin profit margins in the sector, particularly for the smaller farmer, which raises issues of affordability. Again, Mr. Zakaria raised that the association members, in broad terms, are quite open to discussions on alternative pricing issues, provided these support the development of the farmer and the needs of the insurer. So what are we doing about these challenges? In order to address the challenge of low consumption of insurance products, the short-term insurance sector is working at developing appropriate products, I stress again, tailor-made, to suit the needs of all farmers, as well as raise awareness around agricultural insurance, which I mentioned earlier on was at a fairly low level. Some of the initiatives are as follows. The development of insurance products that mitigate the adverse effects of weather conditions on the sector. The Council is an association of short-term insurers offering crop insurance, is working with the regulator, IPEC, to change agriculture insurance along global trends by setting up a framework to offer weather indexing products. That's what the regulator is doing at the moment. Once this is finalized, the products will be rolled out. The creation of a national agricultural insurance program that will provide for the necessary and affordable, I emphasize, affordable support to small-scale and subsistence farmers. Engagement with the regulator and relevant government authorities are in progress. So very soon, there will be rollout programs that provide what is required to raise our productivity in farming. Through farmer organizations, ICZ will roll out educational campaigns on agricultural insurance. I think this is an area members are aware needs to be beefed up. Besides raising awareness on the products available on the market, the exercise will educate farmers on how to effectively make use of insurance. Is one of the risk management approaches to farming. Most small-scale farmers appreciate that farming is a business venture that should be treated and protected as such. And one of the most effective ways of doing it is to engage insurance or insurance. The interactions ICZ will have with farmers will also be crucial to appropriately address any challenges and gaps highlighted by the farmers. Our members clearly and unequivocally wish to provide farmers with the products that are useful to them. We will move away from generalization. Tailor-made products would be available. I think, Chairman, I'll stop here for the moment, having given a broad outline of what we are able to do, and perhaps engage people later on in questions and answer. Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Karunga, for giving us that, again, detailed expose of not only the variety of insurance products that are available, but I think most meaningfully for me, the preparedness by your industry and your organization to respond in personalized ways to the emerging requirements of our farmers. So we're very thankful for that. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, let me invite Ms. Ringisai Bhatia, who is the Public Relations and Marketing Manager for the Insurance Council, to speak a little bit about the council and why it exists and why it has meaning for you as farmers. So Ringisai, please take over. Hello, Ringisai, can you hear me?
Hello. Okay, thank you. Now I can hear you.
Great, thanks.
Thank you, Patrick. My appreciation to the presentations that were done by Mr. Karunga, who is actually the Chief Executive Officer of the Insurance Council of Zimbabwe, and also our distinguished guest, Mr. Paul Zakaria, the Secretary General of the Zimbabwe Farmers Union. From the perspective of the presentations that were given, how does ICZ come in? ICZ is a representative body of 18 short-term insurance companies operating in Zimbabwe who offer agriculture insurance. As outlined by Mr. Karunga, there are various products that are on offer. Of course, some of them have been labeled as not really relevant to the needs of the farmers who are here joined, who have joined this session. We take note of that, and as Mr. Karunga has already outlined, there are a lot of activities that ICZ and its members are involved in to ensure that we advance the business of insurance in the country, as well as take care of the interests of the farming community through the use of insurance as a risk management and security tool. We are quite excited that this is a beginning of a journey where we will be having direct interactions with the farming community and all other relevant stakeholders to ensure that all the concerns that have been raised, that will continue to be raised beyond this session, will be addressed, and not just only addressed in word, but these issues that we are picking up today will be turned into action items that we will be tackled through a plan, an implementation plan, where ICZ will be working together with the various stakeholders that include its members, the insurance companies, that include the farming community, the regulator, as well as the relevant government departments that are concerned and have the mandate of advancing agriculture in the country. So today is the beginning of a journey where we'll have a series of other webinars to specifically address issues that come out and not generalize on issues like what Mr. Karonga has said. So we are requesting to all farmers that are in this session and others that will get to hear about this platform that we've now set up to continuously be putting up issues that we can address and that can be turned into action items by ICZ for the ultimate use of insurance as a risk management tool within the farming community. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Ringisai. Thanks very much. So farmers, there you have it. You do have a voice, and this is your platform to take advantage of as we go forward, as indeed is the time where we have arrived now, where we would like to go into a question and answer session. I think that there are obviously means for you to direct your questions, and one of them may be to write your questions and send them into the chat box.
Okay, I think
yes,
there's
indeed.
In the chat.
Okay.
It's from Stan. And he's saying, thanks for sharing some of these insights. In the suite of risk management tools, are you also considering weather derivatives, which turn out to be cheaper in countries that have adopted these?
I'll take that question, but first of all, perhaps the question needs to be clarified. What derivatives is the questioner having in mind here?
Yes. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for organizing this for the farmers. So I understand this is about like agricultural insurance. So what also has evolved, especially in other countries, they have come up with what are known as like weather derivatives. So just maybe, so these weather derivatives, they would work maybe in line with the financial institutions as well. So you would find that to be involved, one pays maybe a premium which is not as high as the premium that one would pay when they are into an agricultural insurance kind of facility. But also in terms of getting a payout, it is dependent on the weather, the parameters that would be set based on the weather. And in most cases,
then.
Yes.
Okay, I can address your question now. Currently, we are working out that cover, which you're calling a derivative. That is what I indicated is the weather index. It is based on the weather. The premiums obviously will be a group type premium situation. Once we finalize the program, it may include subsidies from authorities, so that as you stated, premiums are at a fairly low level. Yes, we are working on that, but to be able to put that into effect, we need a regulatory framework, which is being finalized by our regulators. I don't know whether I've addressed your question. Yes, we will deal with those derivatives. They are being dealt with, but we need to create a framework to introduce them to the market to protect the farmer and well, the guy who introduces the derivatives.
Noted. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Stan. Thank you very much for your contribution. Rawlings, I know there may be other of your members who also wish to contribute. This is their platform. So we encourage you to generate as many questions so that you leave with a feeling of satisfaction about this program. And also, I would like to take the opportunity to say to all our farmers that this is the first in a series that will continue. So at this stage, we have scheduled 3. So we encourage you to keep attending so that we can develop this conversation. And out of these conversations, we will be able to generate not only the answers, but the products that you need. So if we have any other contributors, feel free to come on and address through your speaker, or to just, if you don't wish to speak, you can direct your question into the chat box.
Yes, Patrick, there's this comment from Colin Banda. Oh, he says, thank you for this platform, much appreciated. My contribution is that there is indeed need for ICZ to not only promote existing farm insurance products, but also to take the lead in driving development of tailor-made insurance products that address the needs for our local farmers and that speak to their evolving needs. I hope that going forward, we'll see more from, we'll see more of this from the council.
Well, it's certainly valid, and we thank you for that feedback. It certainly will help to shape the plans of the council as we go forward. And as you may well have heard, the council is prepared and they are in a mode to respond. So thank you for that, Rawlings.
Yes, thanks. Then Lazarus Sauti says, in this COVID-19 era, technology is proving to be our new normal. How are you, ICZ, and your members are using technology to promote agricultural insurance?
Well, I think you must have observed that because of COVID-19, digitalization, the pace of digitalization accelerated tremendously, and people are moving towards using the internet to deal in insurance products. So the short answer is that the digitalization is taking over the routine manual aspects of dealing with insurance. I know that not everyone has access to internet. Not everyone is a handset, but we have moved very quickly in that direction because there is no other alternative. People are not going to work physically. A lot of people are working from home, as it were. And to do that, you need to digitalize, and that is one of the major effects of COVID-19. Thank you, Patrick.
And thank you very much, sir. Yes, much appreciated. Rawlings, back to you. Do we have any other comments?
The other one says, thank you so much for this series and for supporting our agriculture in Zimbabwe. So how are you reaching out to those forgotten farmers? I'm talking about the farmers in the rural area. It's from Melody.
Thank you so much. We are, like we've just been talking of, that we've moved into the digital era. Unfortunately, not everyone has access to the platforms that we are using. So we would certainly be linking up with other stakeholders who have access to those areas and can be used as mouthpieces for ICZ and the industry at large. In terms of the small scale to subsistent farmers, we also notice that the products that we have, the insurance products, agriculture insurance products that we have are also not really conducive for their needs due to reasons that have already been spoken of. So we are in an innovative phase together with our members to be able to make sure that that particular segment of our population is covered. We will also be working together with the relevant government authorities who also have networks of communication that spread out to such areas to be able to reach out to those communities. They are not forgotten. We are actively engaged in the programs that are pushing for financial inclusion of the marginalized population. So definitely activities are underway to make sure that everybody is included in the insurance value chain. Thank you.
Thank you, Ngisai, which is fine, because what it does do effectively, we have also been fairly meticulous with our management of time, because our time has come up. So perhaps what we will do is hand back to Ngisai for the closing remarks. But please let me take the opportunity to thank our farming community and assure them that this is a regular feature, or at least will be a regular feature, which will be designed to inform their activities and their planning as we go forward. So Ngisai, may I come back to you so that we can have our closing remarks? Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Patrick. We, as ICZ, we appreciate the farmers that have joined this platform. We also appreciate the media representatives who are here, as we rely on you to spread the word, to help us educate the masses in terms of how insurance can be used as a risk management tool. Mr. Zakaria, thank you so much for participating. This platform has allowed us to hear some of the challenges that are being faced directly from the people that are experiencing them, and there is no middleman interpreting the problems that the challenges that are being faced, which is something that ICZ has been seeking to experience, where we hear directly from the people, from the farmers, what the challenges are, so that we can also directly proffer solutions which are not just verbal, but practical solutions that will be beneficial and effective in the end. As we close this session, we are kindly requesting that people continue to post all those technical questions that they have. These technical questions will assist us to map the further discussions targeted at addressing specific issues that will come up. On the future sessions, we'll also have agronomists who are within our industry to be answering to some of these technical questions. We'll also have our IT experts who will answer to questions that pertain to the weather indexing programs that we have, that we are currently working on. So all those various issues will be taken on board and addressed directly. And like we said, we will also at some stage share the results of the activities that we will be taking, that we will be embarking on. And lastly, allow me to thank all the farmers that have joined us. We appreciate your views. We appreciate the activities that you're carrying out, which are supporting the economy and feeding the nation. Not just locally, you're also exporting and bringing in foreign currency to us. And as the insurance sector, we would want to be supporting you, giving you the security that you need, so that in the event of any mishap that happens, your activities are quickly restored and business continues without major interruptions to the value chain of the agriculture sector. with that being said, I would like to also thank the agribusiness media entity for affording us a link to the farmers and to other relevant stakeholders within the agricultural sector. We believe that they have been quite instrumental in spreading the word, in bringing to us the issues that are on the ground, that they have then, together with us, have decided that let's directly link up with the farmers and hear what they have to say without having any interpretations that come through and probably distorted. So as ICZ and as the voice of the short-term insurance industry, we are pledging our support, that we are always here for you. Should you require anything in terms of agriculture insurance, we will provide the information that you need. We will also make sure that your concerns in terms of the service provision that is being provided by our members are addressed. Any challenges are solved, so that we ensure full utilization of insurance as a risk management tool. Thank you.
Dingisai, thank you very, very much. Rawlings, can I just come back to you one more time? You may have something you wish to say to the farming community before we close off.
I would like to thank everyone for participating in this event. Thank you very much, farmers. And we hope you will join us in the next event, which we will post on our social and digital media platforms. And many thanks to ICZ for making this webinar a success. Also, thank you, Mr. Zakaria, for giving us insights on the need for agricultural risk management. So with that, thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you very much, Rawlings. Thank you for your contribution and your participation today. It was certainly instrumental. And I take the opportunity now to officially close this webinar. To you, our special guests, Mr. Paul Zakaria, representing the Zimbabwe Farmers Union, and indeed our host and sponsor today, Mr. Tendai Karonga, thank you for your participation. Ringisai, thank you for your guidance. And likewise, those behind the scenes, Audra, thank you so much for your hard work in making this come together. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you again, and have a great day and stay safe.